First and foremost, magandang umaga sa inyong lahat. My name is Patrick Signo. I head up our strategic engagements with Alibaba Cloud, and I'm here today to talk to you all about data-driven digital transformation. So thank you. I'm going to begin by sharing with you all what the 6 values are that drive Alibaba Group. And this is relevant as I go through my story over the next 20 or so minutes, explaining the move to digital transformation. And very similarly to what Vet has spoken about, this is a great segue into understanding more about your organization and having your employees align to what your overall objectives are as you expand and grow in any particular market. And so with Alibaba, our mission is to make it easy to do business anytime, anywhere. Very simple. And our overall vision is that we would like to aspire to continue to be a great company that will last over 102 years. And the 102 in some funny way is that we were established in 1999. We will operate throughout the 20s and then reach and continue to do business in the 2100s. So the theory there is with this good value proposition that we have, which is a variation of what it has been over the last 20 years. We generally put our customers first, right? So at the forefront of any organization looking for digital transformation, as will be the case with my sharing, Alibaba absolutely puts customers first, employees second, and shareholders third. Now, it's not, you could probably debate various aspects of that, but I think as I go through the story, it will all make sense, because over time, when you put customer first, it's about establishing trust in the market, making it easy and simple to do business anywhere, as you adapt to the constant changes that have taken place today, the last 2 years, the last 20 years, or even the last 50 years. Then validating that or pushing that each individual that works with you in alignment to your vision is about performing to the best that they possibly can to achieve the broader outcome of the organization, okay? So some of these were shared yesterday, but I think diving deeper into it and to explain digital transformation, what better way to showcase this with what we have done within the Alibaba Group, okay? Now, I am from the cloud unit, and I'll get to that shortly, but for many of you today who know about Alibaba, you'll probably know us more in the Philippines as Lazada, but the reality is we've been in the market now for over 20 plus years. Established in 1999 purely as an e-commerce platform, and over the duration of the 20 years where we've seen the advent of connectivity, GSM, 3G, 4G, now 5G, the ongoing growth of mobile devices, mobile computing, IoT, edge. And let's say the advancements or the innovations happening in different industries, moving from traditional ways of doing business to now adapting to a digital world, these platforms over the last 20 years have continued to help the Alibaba Group grow and support the customer base that we have today. So when we started off as an e-commerce business, we had various platforms that were servicing and providing in a B2B, C2C capacity, how to be able to sell on our platform, to sell through our platform, or to partner with organizations so that we could go out and expand our presence in new markets. And Alipay in 2004 was brought on board purely out of necessity to help organizations, or let's say customers, be able to facilitate digital payments. Now, we're talking a time when cash was still king, checks, bank transfers, traditional methods of banking. But with the inception of what Alipay could bring at that time, and I think there were many other solutions in the market quite similar, Alipay became Alibaba Group's first foray into a digital payment platform. And I think, with things like the iPhone growing over the next 3 to 4 years in the late 2009, 2010s, we then saw the advent of, let's say, customers interacting more with websites, customers becoming more internet savvy. Customers big and small starting to purchase more of their goods online. It was a fundamental shift from what we knew in a bricks and mortar environment in retail to now being able to do it from the comfort of your own home. So as with the evolution of that particular industry, so too did we come up with areas like what we refer to as Alibaba, which is our digital marketing arm, and then growing our footprint within retail with Tmall, which is our luxury branded e-commerce platform. And as with all things, when you grow, you come to an inflection point. The inflection point being, how do I scale to service the types of clients that I'm targeting in the market today? How do I scale so that I can expand beyond where I am and share this technology with the rest of the world? And so, therefore, in 2009, Alibaba Cloud came into inception as a result of the technology requirements that the group needed to grow over time. And essentially, from 2009 through to 2019, we've been able to build up areas called areas in logistics, in lifestyle entertainment, and in, I guess, overall technology to provide a more holistic view. So, 1999 was about establishing an e-commerce platform. We became good at it. We facilitated things that our customers wanted, Alipay, Tmall, and then the inception of Alibaba Cloud to help facilitate and grow and scale based on customer demand. Therefore, in order to do that, our logistics 3PL platform enabled us to be able to deliver at scale. And looking at lifestyle and entertainment, we do things now at the software application level, where we're delivering messaging platforms, we're delivering live streaming platforms, we're even co-slating films through our Alibaba Media Entertainment arm. Movies that operate in the international market, but ones where we've continued to expand our presence because it's moved beyond that to look at what our customers want. Okay, so in summary, this is what takes place at the group level, but it's not without acknowledging the fact that Alibaba Cloud did start out of necessity, but has also grown to become the largest cloud provider in Asia and the number 3 global cloud provider across the world, right? So, we started in 2009. We started working on, core infrastructure, being able to deliver cloud primarily within our internal operations and perhaps within the region. And then, over time, over the next 3 to 4 years, we started developing hybrid cloud solutions, AI-based solutions, and being able to streamline and increase the velocity of how we drive innovation to the market. So it was about, how do we pick up these different types of technologies? How do we accelerate it? How do we actually align that to what our customers are looking for? Large enterprise or small to medium enterprises, how do we make sure that these are solutions that are relevant, that can cater to their requirements, and that can be a part of anyone, small, medium, or big, and can grow over a period of time? And as a result of what we've done, we essentially then expanded across the market. So, 2015 or 16, we moved into an international space. We're currently headquartered out of Singapore, and we've over time continued to expand our presence globally in terms of our footprint, availability zones, regions, our core infrastructure to be able to support a variety of different industries. And whilst this represents what's happened over the last 10 years, a lot of it has been based really on the fact that organizations are still trying to find that sweet spot of, if I haven't moved into a digital strategy, how do I do it? Or if I am mature in my digital strategy, how can I employ other solutions in the market today to help augment or, change that strategy to bring me into a different realm over the next 10 years? And with Alibaba, we see that the 4 trends continue to be based on cloud, IoT, digitalization, and mobile, right? I don't think mobiles are slowing down anytime soon. But for me, it's funny. My daughter even uses iPads now and has no interest in using a laptop. So the advent of technology is continually changing that. But to put that all into perspective, we now refer to Alibaba Group as a broader digital ecosystem. And as I mentioned, we focus primarily on the consumer. We have a platform that basically does digital marketing, brand building. It talks about being able to identify how users operate on the platform and manage a broader ecosystem of channels so that we can actually capture a lot of this data and ensure it's in line with what our customers want, right? So at the very top end, what people know us for in the Philippines, you'll know us as Lazada. But that particular platform is all about being able to understand. It's not just a platform where you can sell, yes, to those who participate and are members of the platform. You do get great benefits, but for us, it's being able to understand more about where your customers are buying, what they're buying, when are they buying it, how are they buying, how many are they buying, and being able to leverage that data in big data platforms, through large computing platforms, so that we can provide the output to key decision making criteria that enables you to change your strategies for future events. And whilst this represents our broader digital ecosystem, the goal here is being able to let's say push this as an innovative platform across different industries and across different customers that we work with today. So from a customer standpoint, right? If we talk about specific industries, look, we work with banks, we work with airlines, we work with manufacturing, media, retail, etc. And it could be as simple as focusing on, what do your customers want today? Okay, customers might look at ways in which they just want to be able to get access from a banking standpoint. They might be able to want to get access to a better banking experience. Or they might want access to new innovative products. The overall thing here from a banking standpoint, as an example, is if I am the bank, how do I provide the best user experience to drive a higher level of loyalty? And as we're all aware, data-driven digital transformation is not possible without the data. Without customers, you don't have that data. Yeah, you might have you might have market insights, but you also need that customer base, that loyal customer base, to be able to understand, develop, redevelop, re-enhance your product offerings to the market that make it relevant to customers today. And in the case of some of these examples that I have here, from a finance and banking standpoint, we work with these organizations to help them boost their profits, right? This is about providing them with solutions, support, and access to a broader technological ecosystem that can drive that particular objective with what they're doing when they operate in that particular market. If we talk about it from a business transformation standpoint, let's take, for example, South China Morning Post, multimedia and internet. We're moving away from traditional methods of newspapers, or let's say handheld publications, to now online. And yes, today I don't know many people that pick up newspapers, but 5-10 years ago, this was very different, right? I've seen the acceleration of digital over the last 3 years, purely because of the likes of other social media platforms drive that particular generation to now interact with these platforms much more in a more meaningful way. And how you capture the data from those engagements brings about that loyalty, and how you develop your future solutions, your future engagements, future platforms to engage these people is what's going to help drive your digital transformation strategy. And with us, again, we have a local supporting platform that can provide insights into whatever industry you're looking at, that can drive that level of loyalty, that can drive that enhanced user experience, and that can give you insight into that level of data to give you more access to innovation through a broader channel ecosystem that we have today. Which I'll talk about in a minute. And then this is about leveraging at the very core what Alibaba Cloud can do, from an infrastructure, a platform, and a software as a layer standpoint. And it goes without saying that our entire Alibaba Group stack is powered by Alibaba Cloud. As we migrated and went on that journey over the 20 years that I explained earlier, once upon a time, we were operating on-prem, then we went into a hybrid model. We've relied on various third parties to support our technology stack. But eventually, in time, as we grew and developed our own, we now run the entire stack with support from third parties on the Alibaba Cloud. And the best example of this is, many of you might know Double 11. So every year, November 11, we have a one-day flash sale. perhaps what's most significant about this in the time that I've been with Alibaba to what I'm talking about now is that at its very peak in 2020, whilst the number is 2020, it represents the fact that we've seen our transactions per second grow from, let's say in 2017 to 325,000 to now being 583,000 transactions per second being pushed through our platform versus the original 1,000 transactions per second back in 2010. Technology is driving it. Understanding your customers is driving the increase. The market trends, the ability to adapt, the ability to understand where the market is headed is what's driving this explosive growth and these historic numbers that Alibaba Cloud has been able to achieve over the last 10 years, okay? And this is significant because from a cloud standpoint, from an infrastructure standpoint, we support all of these transactions because it's essentially powering all of the sellers or buyers that come onto the platform. They buy, we're talking concurrent users on the platform within a 24-hour period. So you can imagine the site's being flooded, less people are buying, and equally, we're also being attacked, right? So security, cloud security is a very important aspect, which I will speak about after this. But again, this has not been possible without acknowledging the fact that over the last 10 years, we have developed a large variety of different technologies. And it goes beyond infrastructure, public cloud. It goes as well into what we're doing at a warehousing logistical standpoint. How are we driving the use of AI and technology to be able to help with operating at scale? Imagine you've got millions and millions of orders in one day, and the ability to get those delivered in a certain period of time. You could probably hire hundreds of people to do it, but it could possibly be more efficient. It has been more efficient by hiring or having the technologies around intelligent robots to help with that human aspect of this process. And if I take it into the future, what we're seeing now is that live streaming is actually very big, not just from a content one-way delivery standpoint, but the ability to have two-way engagement, live stream, and on the other end, being able to buy at that point in time what you're seeing. It's driving higher levels of user engagement. You're understanding what the user wants based on their profile, based on the platforms that are employed today, and you're able to give them access to products or services that they might most likely be interested in and be wanting to purchase over time. And if you look at the way purchasing behavior has changed over time, this is very different to what it was back in 2010, let alone what it was back in 2000, right? And so as we continue to grow, I think you all know that last week we launched our new data center in the Philippines. We've now grown to 25 regions worldwide, and our increasing investments within our infrastructure are now being pushed across all of Asia, right? So we have certainly a very large and broad ecosystem, but what we're seeing now in places like the Philippines, Malaysia, Thailand, Indonesia, these are areas of growth that represent places that we can help with some of the core strengths and unique value that Alibaba can deliver today. So in Asia Pacific, we do have a widespread coverage based on the cloud platform. We do have a large number of data centers and a very large number of compliance and accreditations worldwide from a security standpoint. From a technology standpoint, we are rated now by Gartner. So when I first joined Alibaba, we were not listed in the Gartner quadrant, and now as a result of our recognition operating in international market, we are certainly listed in Gartner and recognized at that level, based somewhat on the previous examples that I've shown you about how we've moved from being a pure, just a basic e-commerce business to now being a lifestyle, media, and entertainment organization, a digital economy that provides these different types of technologies to the market that can help impact different types of industries. We do have a very strong ecosystem, and as I mentioned earlier, Alibaba Group is represented in the Philippines, not just by the cloud business that was launched or officially announced last week, but Lazada. And across our entire platform, the likes of Alipay, AliExpress, across different areas in Asia and across the world, continue to contribute to this broader strategy for focusing on what our customers want. And then as we continue to grow and expand, we're looking to establish ongoing local support, both in country, in region, but also through a broader channel partner ecosystem, because of the fact that it's not just about providing a cloud to the market, but it's also being able to give back, okay? And so, as I mentioned, one thing that we're probably very good at, and one thing that we've seen in many markets, is that, China, the access to China, the ability to do business in China, the ability to provide solutions in and out of China is a core, purely because we are an organization that was developed, established out of China before we went into an international market space. And a lot of what we do today, compliance, security, our ability to navigate North and South Asia, is quite progressive and in alignment to the grassroots of the organization. Okay, so from a product standpoint, from an infrastructure standpoint, and from a compliance and security standpoint, we're very much aware and aligned to providing these types of services to the market in a very, very compliant way. And that's the reason why we have over 10,000 global partners delivering 500 plus different joint solutions. Many of you may know some of these names here. If we look at it from a consulting standpoint, the likes of Deloitte, SoftBank, Rackspace, from an infrastructure standpoint, we work with them in some capacity, delivering both solutions through a channel, co-developing solutions with them to be able to bring to the market, and being able to just service the platform in a partnered way, right? So to the right, you'll see some names: Red Hat, Intel, Siemens, names that you're all aware of. But from a strategic standpoint, it goes without saying that we're also working with the likes of Salesforce, VMware, and Accenture to help deliver a holistic view on technology. It's not just about a public cloud platform, but everything around it that contributes to a broader organizational business strategy of where you're headed, how you're growing, and what your customers want to see from you today. Whether you're in banking and finance, whether you're in retail, whether you're in an e-commerce space, it doesn't matter. A lot of what we do here are focused primarily on being able to create solutions at a vertical level. Okay, so on the far left, you will see, from a cloud migration standpoint, our core infrastructure services, cloud networking, cloud security, cloud database, big data, and hybrid cloud are areas that we're focused on, areas that we're strong in, and areas that we have a very good footprint on. Focused on DevOps teams, solutions, working with large internet companies, IoT, and large enterprises to do different types of migrations or integrations. But the biggest value in working with Alibaba comes in the fact that we have been working with a large number of organizations across all industries to be able to formulate our unique value proposition, how we approach retail, how we approach a fintech, and how we even approach traditional organizations in manufacturing, energy, and auto. Okay, so this is about being able to take technology, the technology today that some of you might look at and might be daunted by. You might be a bit, scared to be able to employ it. But for those of you who are on it, you might think, well, how do I take this technology and transform? How do I drive this digital transformation that we're looking at in a traditional business? Well, based on the customers that we've worked with, based on the engagements that we've had, and based on the expansion in the broader ecosystem that we have today, we're happy to share that. We're happy to show you what it looks like, because it certainly helps with the way that we've grown in the market today. Okay. One other thing here is that from an enterprise standpoint, I think I mentioned earlier, these are some of the technologies that we do have, notwithstanding the fact that we can focus on different industries. So we're talking about retail and e-commerce, fintech, digital media. Some big brand names that work with us which I will show in a minute, do so and leverage us because of our ability to integrate with some of these names that you see here. So from a top layer, we're talking about applications that can interact with customers, applications that understand customers, and applications or front end that can acquire this data so you understand more about your customers. At the SaaS and the PaaS level, it's being able to understand how these systems can operate to give you optimum performance and give you access to that information so that you're driving that at a platform level and being able to, you're being able to let's say, crunch the data on a big data platform and understand more about your customers. Alibaba Cloud's core infrastructure can certainly help with crunching that, just based on how we do it with customers today. So, you know, from a product standpoint, we work with a lot of popular names that you know, prominent names in the industry. And from a compliance standpoint, I think there were some questions raised yesterday, as is today. You know, Alibaba Cloud remains committed to providing a high level of governance, security, and compliance within all the regions that we operate in today, leveraging the accreditations and the certifications that we have in each country. And these customers that you can see here, some of our global clients that we have, are ones that do follow us today. Admittedly, their digital transformation, I mean, if you look at Starbucks alone, I still remember when I was able to order a coffee, I still remember when I was ordering coffee 20 years ago from a Starbucks versus today where I can walk in and just pick up my order, right? Whilst that's one example of that, we're then talking about a large, you know, telecommunications organization in Europe being able to leverage their telco data. So it's pushing data back from a racing car in real time so that I can watch the data and understand, you know, how far a bend was taken, at what velocity and what speed he needs to finish to get in front of the next driver. So both ends of the spectrum, amazing what you could do with technology, amazing what you could do with data, and amazing what you could share with that type of customer experience that has evolved over time. Okay. Now, these 6 questions, you've all seen it. You understand, you know, some of the key areas: lower TCO, high availability, security, and compliance. Perhaps the biggest thing to consider in any form of digital transformation strategy: how do I standardize what I have internally? There was an example made earlier about a spaghetti, you know, variety of different solutions coming into one. But if you can standardize, if you can have a platform that's robust and gives you that level of cadence and the ability to drive a faster level of innovation, your process to driving a digital transformation strategy does increase in alignment with what your core values are within the organization. Okay. These are some of the platforms that we have today with Alibaba Cloud. So from a container standpoint, Kubernetes, you know, this is very big in the market at the moment. We're well aware of this solution, and we have great examples of how we do it today, something that we can speak about if there's interest. And then our big data platform. So this is being able to take high performance computing clusters, being able to integrate you know, various platforms, and being able to help you build your own data lakes if needed, so that you have, you know, a single platform that gives you access to the data that you need and the output that you need to drive better customer engagements. Okay. Over the next 3 years, I think you're aware of this, we're going to continue to drive the engagements in the Philippines. The first phase is done. We've launched our data center, but the reality is we've only just begun. So over the next 3 years, we're going to engage with a lot more individuals, entities, or enterprises, and look to certify a large portion of the workforce, because now it's about giving back, being able to enable and develop the community based on what we're seeing across the Philippines in terms of digital adoption, digital growth, and making sure that, you know, the organizations that are looking to transform can do so with a platform that's given great examples around it. Some of the collaboration that we have across the ecosystem, as I mentioned earlier, you know, Alibaba is now a digital economy. We have a news platform. We have a financial platform. We have a messaging platform. We have partnerships with airlines that can help transform the types of solutions we bring to the market. The solutions that we have in the market today were not born because we thought it was a great idea. they're born out of co-collaboration with organizations that we work with today. And I've seen that firsthand with both the clients that I work with within the country, the clients that I've worked with across the world. Alibaba Group, Alibaba Cloud, we're very much well aware of what a digital transformation strategy should be based on what we've seen with clients. And whilst we have our own value proposition to the market, it's also acknowledging the fact that some of our customers just want to see new, cool, innovative things. So we're always happy to chat. We're always looking for that next big thing. Yes, we have a big pipeline and we have a view and a vision of what that's going to be over the next 10 years. But it's a great starting point to really understand, where does my organization want to go today? How am I adapting to the trends that are taking place in the market today? How do I make sure I maintain loyalty across my user base? How do I retain these customers? How do I provide them with the best user experience? And how do I leverage that on a platform where I can understand more about these engagements so that I'm providing the best possible value in the market today? We like to keep it simple. A digital transformation strategy does not have to be hard. If you focus in the way that I've explained what I've just said, we focus on our customers first. If you focus or find a focal point that you can focus on that helps drive you to do that, it's about making it simple. It's about keeping your eyes, keeping that focus, and making sure that along that journey, which people will figure out and have figured out along the way, will transpire over time. So one of the biggest things that we do, we have a startup program in Alibaba. It's called Create. This is a program that we help with startups. Happy to share more details about it if anyone is interested. But this represents the fact that we do believe in digital transformation. We do believe in enabling organizations, small or large, with new technologies and initiatives in the market. And lastly, our training and certification. So if anyone's interested, we do have various types of training available to become aware of Alibaba Cloud, to become more, aware of our product services. Happy to chat about it in detail if you'd like to learn more. So please join these groups, scan the QR codes. I'm happy to take some of these conversations offline. Digital transformation can be complex, but it doesn't have to be. And I think one of the biggest values I'd love to have a chat to anyone who's interested is, let's talk about your particular use case. Let's talk about your industry. Let's talk about how to get you started on Alibaba. We can do so very quickly within 24 hours. And it's a great starting point to learn more about what Alibaba Cloud is doing in the country and the clients that we work with today. So thank you very much.